Good morning, everybody. Welcome to IGtv. And on the line with us, we have Lamar Kessam, as I mentioned, from RSA Security. And RSA is the security division of EMC. And this is their fraud research labs over in Israel. And they come on the program with us each and every month. So, Lamar, why don't you take off with it? This is ransomware everywhere, huh?
Yes, that's right. It's just you've been mentioning this before I called, and you were saying that a few vendors have already caught in with these ransomware campaigns. This is something that both the industry has been seeing, but also consumers who are at the receiving end of this sort of threat and are actually really menaced by it. So this is not just some sort of a Trojan they don't even know is there. This is something that takes over their computer and they can't even use all their files. A lot of times it's pictures, documents, everything. So if we're, thinking of a computer of a business person and they have a presentation tomorrow, they could panic and try to pay this ransomware. So let's see what ransomware is. It's like I was saying, it's a Trojan. It's a kind of malware that can encrypt files and digital assets on the PC that manages to infect. And they ask for payment before releasing the hold on the computer. These type of attacks came from, of course, Russia, unfortunately. Started around 2005 and have since changed the tactics and targets, but have not really changed technically. There's the same ransomware, same components. It's nothing very sophisticated, but it is able to take over, files and encrypt them. The infection method of ransomware is pretty much like any Trojan. This is, you can get exploited, or there are infection campaigns of this sort of malware. We have seen the ransomware coming through black hole exploit kits. We've been seeing it dumped on users when they have malicious tags on websites and forums. So it's the same sort of infection. And in the most basic term, it's called the Winlock Trojan because it mostly works on the Windows platform, and it locks the files. So this malware, when it's a Winlock, comes as a standalone piece, but now we're seeing that it is coupled with Trojan infections. And RSA itself has been actually analyzing Trojans and seeing that it's pulling in different ransomware components. So as I was saying, it's not very sophisticated or different from the earlier versions, and the only thing that is kind of worrying is that we see it linked with major Trojans like Carburp and Zeus. We see it in the TDSS botnet, which is really a big botnet. We see it coming with worms or fake antivirus malware. So it's really like a malware fest with these infections.
It's kind of interesting, Lamar. Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What lit up RSA, Trend Micro, Sophos, and the others all of a sudden on this?
Well, first of all, these things come in waves. So there's been waves that started in January this year, and what happens is when, first of all, antivirus vendors keep seeing this, rising because they sample on user PCs, and they see that there's a real increase in this type of Trojan, so they know what their users are suffering from out there. And of course, RSA works with different partners. Some of them are antivirus and also providers. So we get feeds of these Trojans that pertain to our business, and then we see these ransomwares on it, and we're like, what's going on here? This is a banking Trojan. This is not supposed to be this way. Why is it calling on a ransomware? And of course, if these things affect our customers, then we analyze and we get involved in these campaigns, and we start knowing about them and reporting about them.
Okay, I
This
just
is
wanted to
how.
get that out there to everybody so that they understood how all this kind of bubbles up.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, we see the banking Trojan landing on the PC. Next thing it downloads the ransom. So while the user's files are locked and cannot be accessed, the internet browser is still accessible. So it lets the banking Trojan continue capturing the data the user would usually do with online banking or e-commerce transactions. But if they want to use their files, they have to go and get some sort of a prepaid card loaded with the money that the attacker wants, and they have to key in their PIN into a Trojan's user interface. Well,
Okay.
maybe an important thing I should say it doesn't help, because most of these things, perhaps 90% or more, don't have an unlock code. So even if they do go and buy the prepaid card and they believe they're going to come back and key it in, that's not going to release their files. It's just going to get their money gone.
All right, Lamar, let's break for a short commercial, and we'll come back for a second segment.